I became a personal trainer, got into exercise science realm because of baseball. I love baseball. I was going to go to Kent State and play. So that's why I said, let me know what the score is.
Mhm.
But I blew my shoulder out and I went to PT. And PT, I was so intrigued by it because it helped me. Because I mean, I went there the one day I couldn't lift my arm up. Went there, just did some stretches, kind of pushed it around, and I was able to lift my arm up all the way. I was 17 at the time. So that's what triggered it. And then when I was 18, my dad had double bypass surgery. And seeing him in the ICU with tubes coming out of his stomach and just, pretty much unconscious. He's 47 years old. Small personal training studio, maybe like 1,100 square feet. Nothing too crazy. We have 4 or 5 trainers on staff, but everyone that comes in, they're working with a trainer. They're not there just in the gym. So everyone's working with somebody that's there for a reason. We have all the equipment of the gym. I mean, there's nothing that we don't have. So there's some pictures there. I'll kind of give you a better visual. Pills, the weight loss pills, fat burning pills. If you look at them, they're nothing more than just caffeine to kind of get you up and just keep you going. The more you move, the more calories you're going to burn. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much what they all are. It's a gimmick. There's a lot of gimmicks out there, a lot of gimmicks. But that's why I'm here. I understand how the body works. But the next page is the dog I was telling you about. And with the PowerPoint, when I first got Harper, she's on the right. Everyone's like, how do I lose weight? I'm like, just get a puppy.
Yeah, walk.
Get a puppy. You'll be running all over the place. But I put this in there just because I like to tell personal stories about myself, just how I am. But we adopted him maybe, 2 weeks ago. And we took Harper to kind of pick him out. And zoom in on her. Her face, she was not happy at all. She just, what's going to happen? So I show this to everybody. I think it's hilarious. Everyone's heard of Biggest Loser, right? That show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This guy, he was a season 1 winner. Now, he was a big guy walking into it, lost a bunch of weight, looks good. And then the picture on the right, that's him. I think it was like 2 years afterwards, 3 years afterwards. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff out there. And the reason why I don't like The Biggest Loser, I think it's great for creating awareness to lose weight. You have to. It's very important. But they miss a huge component, the teaching, the education aspect. Okay, they're on the ranch for, let's say, 3 months, 4 months. Now, if someone lived with me, I can get 100 pounds off of somebody that quickly. But it's just me monitoring them. So the trick that we have to teach everybody. You have to teach how can you do it? How can you keep the weight off? What do you have to do? So it's a lifestyle change, and it just doesn't happen right away. And the reason why they say this is if you cut 500 calories out per day over a week span, 7 days, you're going to cut out 3,500 calories. Now, 3,500 calories of fat equals 1 pound. So that's where they get it. Cut 500 calories, you're going to lose 1 pound a week. It doesn't work like that. That's fat and just the way the macronutrients are broken down, how the body burns fat compared to glycogen, carbs. It doesn't work like that. You actually want to eat to supply your body with fuel. You don't want to decrease. You don't want to take gas out of the car and try driving across country. You'll run out of gas before you get to Ohio. You got to fuel your body. You got to put gas into the tank in order to go as far as you can. It's kind of the best analogy I can give you. But I know you can't read it, so I'll tell you. The bottom number, it is a woman who's at 40% body fat at 150 pounds. In order for her to maintain that weight, the muscle mass in there, she needs to eat 1,669 calories a day. Now, say if she loses 10 pounds, loses 4% body fat, so she's at 36% body fat at 140 pounds. She lost 10 pounds, she needs to eat 1,655 calories per day to maintain that body weight, the muscle mass. Now, furthermore, if she loses another 10 pounds, she goes down to 30%. So she's at 130, 30% body fat. She only needs to eat 1,647 calories in order to maintain that body weight. So decreasing calories to lose weight doesn't matter. This was a 20-pound difference, and it's only, a 20 20 some odd calorie difference in order to maintain the body weight. Yeah, so I mean, lose weight, you don't need to eat less, you need to eat the right amount. I came across this quote, and I think it's great. It says, if you have ever failed to achieve the weight loss or fitness result that you're looking for, it wasn't your failure. It was the failure of the program you're attempting to change with. Body will actually start breaking down muscle because it's a metabolic demand. And you're not really doing it, you're not using it, so it's going to break it down. If you're not supplying the food to it, it's not going to work. It's not going to be active. It's not going to work for you. In each progressing year that you go, once you hit 50, you're up to 1 pound of muscle if you don't do anything. Now, you can reverse this. I mean, it doesn't matter, if you're 20 years or 30 years old or 70 years old. Once you start doing weight training, you can actually get muscle back on your body, more active muscle. That way, you increase your metabolism. And I've had many clients see results, all ages. She was like 67 years old. My first trainer here, she was a retired nurse, and she would just eat once a day, and she wouldn't do anything. She's like, "Can you help me?" Absolutely. You're willing to listen to me. So she started using the weights, getting that strength training, lifting the weights, getting that muscle active, and then eating 2 more times a day. Instead of once, let's go twice. Twice, let's move to 3. And her body's able to start burning more calories and actually burning fat off her body, where she lost, I want to say, last time I talked to her, she was down 73 pounds. And this is in the late 60s. So it doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't matter where you are in life. As long as you start doing this, you can see results, you can see progress. He was 276 pounds when he first started coming to the gym. I started working there. He'd come in and we'd talk about home renovations, and Toyotas, and anything. Just talking. And one day he's like, "Look, I hit a plateau. Like, I'm at 226. I can't lose any more weight. Can you help me?" Like, yeah. And this is when the whole order of things to do, cardio, strength training comes into effect. Because he was doing cardio first, weight training after. And that's a big no-no. How the body burns energy, sources of energy. And I'll talk about that a little later. But I just kind of twisted his workouts around. I mean, he was doing pretty much the same thing. I just twisted where it's going to be more beneficial for him. He was there probably 15 minutes shorter, and he lost another 30 pounds. He went from, I think it was 226, this picture on the left, 196 to the picture on the right. He was 51 years old. So, I mean, again, female, male, they lost all this weight just by doing what they need to do, be consistent. It's not just overnight thing. You really have to stay consistent day in, day out, month after month. Start talking about components of fitness that I really want you to know about. And first one is flexibility. Flexibility is huge. If you're not flexible, body hurts, joints hurt, things can be misdiagnosed. Second is cardiovascular exercise. And third one I just talked about a little bit is weight and strength training. In my mind, it is the most abused aspect of fitness. I don't stretch as much as I should. Clients don't stretch as much as I should. We should all stretch at least 2 or 3 times a day just to move around. We were talking about the kayaks before it started, just everything's just kind of stiffening up. If you can just stretch, those muscles are going to be more elastic. It's going to be more comfortable. If they get tight, the muscle is going to attach to one joint, attach to the other, and it's going to pull, and it's going to create a misbalance or an imbalance in the joint. Today I had 2 people. One complained of lower back problems. It's kind of right above the hip bone back here, just a little bit up. She's like, "It just really hurts." So I was like, "Okay, piriformis, do the piriformis stretch," which I'll show these things at the end. But I stretched it out. She stood up. She's like, "I feel better." It was just that muscle that was pulling. It knotted up, and I was pulling from 2 ends and just created discomfort for her. Where she did the same thing, like I talked about, the trust fall when I hurt my back. She was doing the same thing, just real slow. She had any sudden movements, it was just shoot up and hang. And so tight muscles, there's gonna be injuries. So always stretch. I mean, I need to do a better job of it, but it's just as we get older, the muscles are gonna they're going to tighten up and pull on the joints. The other lady I had, she was complaining of her hip. I just stretched the inside part of her thigh. She's like, my knee feels better, my hip feels better, because it wasn't pulling on it. Because I mean, there's muscles going everywhere. You just got to make sure we stretch it out in order to, release the tension of the muscle from the joint. The toes to the neck. I got real tight traps on my shoulder. I blew it out playing baseball. Dislocated driving back to first base. So I got a bunch of knots as a pitcher. I got so much scar tissue underneath my shoulder blade that it feels like it's just gravel when you go up and down. So stretch as much as possible. I mean, you might have just the same thing as me, scar tissue, but as long as you can stretch more, it's not going to be as bad. You want to hold for 30 seconds. Just doing this before you work out. Just that's not going to do anything. The jerking is actually worse for you because you're stretching the muscle out farther than what it's comfortable. And it can actually spasm out. Has everyone got a Charlie horse in their thigh? The reason why that is because when it stretches, when somebody hits your thigh, the muscle stretches, and it's called the Golgi tendon reflex. If it stretches out too far, it'll not back up so it doesn't tear. So that's what the basis of a Charlie horse is. So just hold it for 30 seconds, static, no jerking. That's probably the worst, especially the calves. People just kind of like bounce around. You can actually tear the muscle doing that. And the PNF stretch, PNF stands for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. There's a reason why I call it PNF, but the basis of that is you stretch, and the biggest thing is the hamstring, but I'll show on the arm, like you stretch it for 30 seconds, and instead of just resting, you actually contract that muscle that's stretching, push against the force for 5 seconds, and then you relax. And that's going to create more blood flow to that muscle, it's going to warm it up, and then you stretch it for another 30 seconds, so you get a bigger stretch. Sources of energy, because the muscles, they have a specific energy source that they need. It doesn't fuel off of fat. Working out, weight training, or doing a weight training session for an hour and a half is not going to be beneficial. The only time it's going to be beneficial if it's for a professional athlete, and last time I checked, I don't think anybody here is a current professional athlete, right? She uses kayaks. That's about it.
Rock climb too.
Yeah. But the muscle, all it needs is 30-35 minutes of stimulation of the weight training. And that's all our sessions run. I mean, Anila, she'll come down and she'll be in, out real quick. And she gets effective workout. That's because when you use the energy systems to your advantage, you actually get a more beneficial workout. So you always want to do weight training first, cardio after. It's because the muscles actually feed off of the blood sugar and glycogen, both muscle and liver. And glycogen is stored carbs. So the reason why it's better for muscles to use that, or why muscles use that, is because glycogen and blood sugar can be converted to energy quicker than fat. So that's why that's why you want to do the weight training first, because the energy is there already. So you're going to be able to lift more weight and not get hurt. And then as the workout progresses, your body's going to go to muscle glycogen, blood sugar, to fatty acids. And what fatty acids are, they are essentially building blocks of fat. It's not actual fat, but it's the building block. Kind of like how amino acid is a building block of protein, fatty acid in the same way. So it'll actually go to burning fat. So you always want to do the cardio after your work or weight training. Because the heart, when you do cardio, the heart's going to beat faster. And the heart survives off, I think, primarily 97% fat. Yeah. So the strength training, it's metabolism. And I just covered the sources of fuel, blood sugar, muscle glycogen. Muscle, it'll burn 50 calories extra per day. That's active muscle, not new muscle, just active muscle that you already have. On the flip side, 1 pound of body fat only burns 2 calories a day. So I mean, if you're, let's say 200 pounds and you're 50% body fat, you're only, half your body weight's only metabolically active. Now say if you're 200 pounds and you're 20% body fat, 80% of your body weight is metabolic active. So there's going to be more. Your metabolism is going to be higher. So that way you're going to burn more calories throughout the day, and especially at night. That's the key. People think you have to work hard in the gym to burn the fat. What do you think is the best fat burning exercise you can do? Fat burning activity.
Sounds like sleep.
Oh, it's sleep. From a percentage standpoint, it's sleep. Because when you're at rest, your body burns 70% fat compared to 30% carbs. Yeah. Now, if you're up and you're jogging and running, obviously you're going to burn more calories, but the percentages go down. So when people come and see me, I make sure we get that muscle active. You know, you walk out, next day you're sore, but it's not because I'm being mean. You know, I want to hurt you. I'm actually helping you. I'm getting that muscle active. I'm making sure you're going to burn more calories. You know, when you're sitting down at night, you know, when you're sleeping. So you're burning more calories, you burn more fat. If you can burn an ounce or two every night extra, you know, after 45 days, 50 days, 60 days, you know, that adds up. And it's 2-3 pounds. Muscle, because we all have a certain amount of muscle in our body. It really takes a lot of effort, a lot of extreme consistency, working out how much protein, how many carbs, when to take in the carbs, when to take in the protein, take in the fat. It's mind-blowing. Bodybuilders, they do that for a living, and it consumes their life. I mean, it's night and day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But how do we get this muscle that's already in our body that's not active? How do we get that up? It's called the overload principle. And all that is, let's say, you know, if I'm doing curls and I'm doing 5 pounds, I can do 5 pounds per unit. There's no strength. So the body is not going to recruit new muscle fibers to contract and lift that weight. I can grab 10 pounds, might be a little heavier, but it's still the same thing. It's not really recruiting muscle fibers. Now, if I grab a 30 pound and I'm struggling, and you know, you've seen everybody in the gym just kind of like lean back and do curls. The body, the mind is lifting the weight and recruiting new muscle fibers to lift that weight. And that's what we want. We don't want the whole leaning back, but we want that fatigue factor. Let's get that muscle burn. Lift more weight than what your body's accustomed to. That's the overload principle. What I like to do is 3 and 4 day splits, depending on everyone's schedule. You know, if we're busy, probably do 3. You know, if you have a little bit more time, if you can get to the gym, work out 4 times, we'll do 4. But I would rather have people do a weight training session over a cardio session just from a metabolic standpoint. That's going to be more beneficial. If you have 20 minutes, I want you doing some kind of anaerobic activity, weight training, you know, high intensity interval training, anything like that, because that's going to be more beneficial for you in the long run. You're going to be able to burn more calories rather than cardio, which is kind of like the main thought in the fitness world. You know, outside from not a professional standpoint, people looking at do cardio. Let's go for a run. We have to run. We have to run to burn calories. No. We call this exercise smarter, not harder, for a reason. But in order to set up a 3-day split, day 1 we can do chest and back. What I always like to do is do a push pull. You know, just kind of keep the muscle balance even. If we do a lot of chest, you know, we're gonna reach the forward. Do a lot of back, body. So we pull back. Same thing with biceps and triceps. If you do too much bicep, your arm's gonna be bent. Tricep is gonna be stiff. So we keep that muscle balance. So anytime there's a push exercise, there's a pull. Day 2, shoulders, biceps, and triceps. Day 3, legs and abs. I always like to do core with with legs, just because the body's energy, you can actually put 100% energy into your legs. You can only put 70% energy into your upper body. I don't know why. That's just how the physiology of the body is. You can exhaust yourself with the legs, but you can't do it with the upper body. It's weird. But now, say if you have a 4-day, we kind of break that down a little bit more. So day 1, we can do chest and biceps. Day 2, back and triceps. Now, we do chest and biceps together because when you do chest, the triceps are actually involved in the pressing. So we do the biceps to kind of counteract that. Same thing with the back. When you pull, you got more bicep in there because the angle of the elbow is decreasing. Day 3, just legs. Day 4, shoulders and abs. Now the 3-day split's going to be a little bit longer just because you're putting more into it, but it's only going to be 10 minutes longer, give or take. 4-day split should only take you 30 minutes at most, just for the weight training. Then if you want to do cardio, you can do cardio afterwards. I always tell people you can do cardio up to 30 minutes afterwards. I wouldn't recommend it, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, because if you want to do cardio, you're improving your circulatory system. The blood flow through, from the heart throughout the body back into the heart. That's what you're really improving on when you do cardio. Right, so combining the cardio and resistance training, we already talked about that. Always do the weight training first because muscle glycogen. After 30, 35 minutes, do the do the cardio if you're going to do it together. Now, cardiovascular exercise. This is we really need to focus on this. But when do you do it? How long? How hard? There's a lot of questions. There's really 2 main ways of measuring cardio intensity because you need to have intensity when you do cardio. You just can't go out and walk and think you're improving the circulatory system, improving the heart. Just like the muscle and the overload, the heart's the same way. Heart's a muscle, so you need to run just a little faster than you're comfortable doing. I am not a huge fan of heart rate training because a lot of people they have beta blockers, so their heart rate's plus or minus 5 beats no matter what they're doing, and that tells me nothing. The Cronin formula actually takes the heart rate, your resting heart rate, max heart rate minus your age, or multiply by intensity. And there's just a huge equation in there. But like I said, if you're on beta blockers, some kind of medication that's going to alter your heart rate, that's not going to be a true sign. The end all, that in my mind would be the Borg scale. When you do the heart rate training, you have to buy heart rate monitors, you have to do this. There's just a lot of stuff that goes into it, and as a professional, quicker the better. Because you can just jump on a treadmill and I'd be like, give you a scale of 6 to 20, and you tell me what is it, where are you at, and then I can give you an accurate description of where your heart rate is at that moment in time. It's not that exact, but it'll actually give me an idea. But the Borg scale that's listed 6 through 20, and that's for a reason. If you're on the treadmill and I have you at a 5% incline walking at 3 miles an hour, I come up to you and be like, all right, tell me your intensity level. And if you're huffing and puffing, you're going to tell me it's up there. So let's say if you say 17, very hard. All I would do is put a 0 right next to 17, and your heart rate at that moment in time is 170. Now that's a little high. Let's back it down. That's too hard. I don't like to do long-term high-intensity training or cardio training. If you're going to do high intensity, short duration, just bring it back down to low intensity. High intensity, short duration, just bring it back down. But right now, if I tell you where you guys at, and you're going to tell me 6, easy, not doing nothing at all, 60 beats per minute, because that is the average heart rate of a human being, 60 beats per minute at rest. So in order to burn calories, because anytime we move, we're going to burn calories. I like to use the weight training to burn calories when you're not in the gym. But if you're going to do cardio and you have a specific goal, it's good for you to know this. I have the Borg scale to the left, and I have this little chart here. I have RPE of 6. RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. So pretty much it's just going to be the number on the Borg scale. So when you're sitting here, you're burning 70% fat. Now, I don't know if it's 100 calories or not. I just did that for simple math, just for effect. But you're burning 70% fat right now. So your activity level for fat burning is high. We're burning primarily fat. Now, let's say if we do cardio for 20 minutes at a RPE of 12. If you look, 12 is between light and somewhat hard. So it's easy. It's not too bad. You might be sweating a little bit, but it's not unbearable. You can do it. You're burning a 50-50 split of carbs and fat. So let's say if you burn 250 calories, 125 calories come from carbs, 125 calories come from fat. And break down, if you want to figure out how many grams that is of carbs, just divide 125 by 4. I'm not a mathematician, so I can't really tell you that. and with fat, divide that by 9, just because there's different calorie amounts for each gram of fat and each gram of carb. Now, say if you go higher intensity, 16 for 20 minutes. Now, this is between hard and very hard. So this is like walking at 5% incline at 3% or 3 miles an hour. You do it for 20 minutes, you may burn 300 calories. Just because the higher intensity, you're going to burn more carbs. Carbs have less calories per gram than fat. That's just kind of putting everything together right now. When you do high intensity like that, you're only burning 25% fat. Most of it's going to be from carbs. And I'd rather use the weight training to do the anaerobic rather than high intensity cardio. If you're going to do cardio, do it moderately. It's going to help the heart. You're going to be able to burn more calories, burn more fat, because at the end of the day, that's what we want. But there's this thing called HIIT training. Is Dr. Deere talked to you about this? High intensity interval training.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that stuff's great.
Yeah. Like you run, you walk, and then run
Mm-hmm.
like a tiger is chasing you.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
Yeah. And did she explain to you why it's so important? You know, why this is such a great idea if you have like 15, 20 minutes? Okay. Well, I have a chart here. It says an afterburn effect. So, like I said, if you're going to do high intensity, do it for like a minute or two, and then drop it back down. Let the heart rate kind of come back down, be able to catch your breath. High intensity again. Let the body catch its breath. Do it again. If you have 15, 20 minutes, that's great. The high intensity interval training, your afterburn starts up here and it goes a lot longer. So you're burning more calories just by sitting there. That's why doing HIIT training is so important, because the calories you burn 24 hours later, it's going to be higher than you just sitting there. So sweating a little bit through that 20-minute session is going to be extremely beneficial for you. Whatever you hate, please. Because cardio, all it is just increasing your heart rate. Because you can be running in place, you could be doing jumping jacks, you can be running the treadmill, beach, bike, anything that's going to get your heart rate up for an extended period of time. Swimming long distance. Now, swimming's just like running. If you sprint, that's anaerobic. If you sprint swimming, that's anaerobic. But if you pace yourself, just like a jog, that's aerobic. As long as you're able to keep up with the oxygen demand, that's anaerobic. If you're going too hard, you're going to fizzle out. Back it down. Same thing with swimming. So anything that you enjoy doing or hate least, do it. That's my suggestion to you. If someone comes to me and they haven't worked out in years, I'm not going to put them doing 4 days, 5 days, because they're not going to keep up. Let's start with 1 day, maybe 2. Let's kind of get in the habit of doing that. And let's maybe do more. Maybe like 2 days after 4 weeks. And then after another 4 weeks, another day. So do 3 weeks. So ease into it. So it's just not ending one lifestyle and starting a new. Let's take your current lifestyle right now. Let's alter it as we go through. Cardio, 3 days a week. Just get up and moving around. If you're, it's even just like walking around the block. I mean, just anything. Just anything. Just kind of get in that habit. I'm not too worried about, if you haven't worked out in a long time, doing intensity levels for the workout to receive more fat burning. I just want you to get in the habit of working out, doing something. Because, we can always change intensity later. I can't make people work out. People got to come to me for that. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So let's just get in the habit of working out. Eat right, and then rest. But when you rest, it's not just sitting on the couch eating potato chips, chicken wings.
Which they would never do anyway.
Yeah.
Chips are not in the
Yeah. Especially watching the Browns drown your sorrows into
Really?
alcohol. Yeah. Just get up and move around. If it's just walking the dog, garden, clean the house, just anything, just stay moving.
we're all gonna do these stretches.
Mm-hmm. So everyone push your seats back. You're gonna stay seated, you're not gonna stand up. Okay. So, do you have a, was that you? Oh, do you have knee problems?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's a body problem.
Oh. It's all right, we can work around that. All right, so I want you to put your foot on your knee. I want you to sit up nice and straight. I don't want you to slouch back. Nice and straight. And I want you to take your chest and go forward. I don't want you to go down, I want you to lean forward. And where do you feel that at?
My hip.
Mm-hmm. That's a piriformis. It's just a small little muscle, no bigger than that. But when it gets tight, spasms, it pulls on the hip. And if it pulls on the hip hard enough, it can actually hit that sciatic nerve, and you feel pain shooting down your leg. This is the stretch that I showed that one lady today, and she's like, "Oh, I feel better. You know, it feels great." The one with the lower back.
What if you feel it in the hamstring? Are you doing it wrong?
You might be up too high, to be honest with you.
Do you feel it in the hip too and the hamstring? Or just the hamstring?
Yeah, you might be angled too much. Because you want your knee right in line with your hip. Or unless your piriformis is just real flexible and you feel it in the hamstring.
I
But
don't think anything's flexible anymore.
just make sure you have that knee down, nice straight back, and you're leaning forward, not down. Nothing?
Just feel like my legs, not my back.
Yeah, when you come see me, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
And then the other one is a glute stretch. So same thing, you cross your leg, your knees up here, and you're gonna push this into your opposite shoulder. So you're gonna kind of like hug it. You should feel it in your left one. Your left, your right, your left. And the glute, it's so big, it's such a big muscle, it's kind of a big fan. And when it gets tight, it kind of pulls on the spine, pulls on the pelvis, and creates more pain. Just like my lower back, when I have flare-ups, it's a lot of times it's the piriformis and the glutes that spasm out and just pull, and it just creates so much pain. I come across, and it just feels like muscles are gonna snap. It's just, it gets real tight, so just, those are like the two biggest ones for lower back. Let's see what else I have. The hamstring, I'm not gonna show you that just because, you know, it involves you laying on the ground. You guys come see me down there, put you on the PT table, and stretch out the hamstring. But when you stretch out the hamstring at home, you can lay on the ground, you can sit on a table or a chair, put your foot on a chair and lean forward. When you lay on the ground, legs straight up, perpendicular to the ground, and you just, I mean, you can pull the back of your leg as long as you keep your leg straight and you stay relaxed. Or you throw a band, a rope, towel around the foot and pull, stretch it out, and you can do the PNF stretch. You stretch for 30 seconds, and then you push for 5, and then you relax and you stretch more for about another 20 seconds. And then the hip flexors, just because like I said, muscle balance, you know, hamstring, hip flexor. I just found this out, if you have tight hip flexor, it can actually be a sign of the back pain that you have if you have lower back pain. Didn't know that. I just found that one out probably 2 months ago. But what you're gonna do, probably just, you can stand up,
It's a lunge, isn't it?
sorta. Sorta. If this is gonna hurt your knee, don't do it.
It's my thigh that's real sore.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that when you come down. Really, go back to layers and figure out what's going on.
That'd be great.
Oh, wait. I'll show you from the side. So I want you to come down like this. And then knee, 90 degrees, and I want you to lean forward. Okay? Just kind of let this leg extend a little bit. You should feel a little stretch in the hip flexor. Feel that? Okay. All right, and then you can do the other leg if you want to. You don't have to. Yeah.
Oh, now you can get up.
Yeah. And those are the stretches I have for it. You can do those at home. When you come and see me, I can give you more, and actually show you how to do them at home. That would be more beneficial for you. But, do you guys have anything for me? I'm done with my part. Any questions about anything?
Can we meet with you soon?